Paying super through Beam Superfund Clearing House. The employee super contributions can be paid directly to any registered super fund or compliant self-managed super fund in Australia using the Beam Superfund Clearing House. QuickBooks Payroll has inbuilt integration to the Beam Superfund Clearing House, so in this section we'll see how Carol registers for Beam to process a superannuation batch. Registering for Beam, all we need to do is under Reports, Payroll, Super Payments, and this is where we register. Choose Register with Beam, and we just follow the actual wizard. So all you need to do is add in your default super fund, and we're going to choose CBUS for this particular client. So we'll choose Add. Default super fund is CBUS. And click Save. Now we're going to register with Beam. And this is where we add in the information for our particular clients. Now, ways to pay, either via direct debit, EFT or BPay. I always choose direct debit because then this way, all we do is we send out the report to the client, which is a superannuations report, and he will then approve with the date that we need to pay the contribution by, and then we process it all automatically through QuickBooks Payroll. If it's EFT, and if you don't have access to your client's bank account or even BPay, you send the information to your client, then it's up to your client when he pays. So we always choose direct debit, but it's up to your client whichever way he may want to pay his superannuation. So we'll choose yes, and then you'll have to put in the BSB and account number for your client. Once you've done that, click Save. It will actually ask you whether or not you want to add in another payment method, but we're just going to click Next. This is the default fund for this particular client. Your clients might have different default funds, so please add that in, but we're happy with one default fund. No, we don't want to register with the ART, but your client may want to. Here are some terms and conditions and direct debit terms and conditions. Please read. Once you've accepted those or your clients have accepted those, click Next. And congratulations, we are now ready to manage our super in QuickBooks Payroll with Beam Super Clearing House. So let's choose back to Payroll, and we're ready to actually process our first superannuation for our client. We'll close out of there. These are the steps that you need to do to process the Super Clearing House with Beam through QuickBooks Online. You choose Reports. Under Payroll, choose Super Payments. And now you can see that this window comes up automatically to pay the new super payment batch, as we have already set up the Beam Super. Choose New Super Payment Batch. We're going to choose via Beam. And the contributions, the date range, will be the date range that we were after, which is the month of July 2022. We'll choose Filter. And this is where you make sure that it is the same amount that you had from the superannuation report that you did earlier. When we're ready to go, all you need to do is click Create Batch. It's going to validate. So it's telling us that the employee's tax file number is not valid. And we click Submit. It's letting us know that it's going to be a direct debit. That's the bank account. Then that's a refund bank account in case it's gone wrong. You can choose these as options as default. And you click Submit. Once submitted, it will come up with the current payment details. It will let you know that it's been submitted. And you can also download the information. Go back to your super payment screen and you'll have a history of the date that the superannuation was created, the actual super submission, the date it was submitted, contribution date range that you paid, the payment total, the status, and what clearinghouse you used. You can, however, filter if you want to and download for information to send out to your client. And that's superannuation payments completed. Carol has now created the batch, validated, and has provided Damien, who has approved it, and she's actually submitted it, as we know. This will commence the automated withdrawal from the bank account and disperse the funds to the individual super funds. This concludes the end-to-end process of a pay run for Zippy Electrical and Data Services. And now Carol can move on to Module 3, Banking. And again, if you would like to learn more about payroll, we highly recommend you check out the Payroll Fundamentals course in our training centre.